The Death Star, the ultimate symbol of the Empire's tyranny across the galaxy. This superweapon was the pinnacle of Imperial engineering, but what is the Death Star? The Death Star is a space station developed for the Galactic Empire. Its completion was intended to make the Empire's rule unrivaled, with the mere threat of planetary annihilation enough to smother any rebellions or uprisings against the Empire. However, the origins of this Goliath machine reach back long before the founding of the Empire. Chancellor Palpatine, whilst plotting his rise to Emperor, knew that his new order would need to be backed up by more than just words and a considerable military. In the prelude to the Clone Wars, Palpatine had his Sith apprentice Darth Tyrannus, or Count Dooku, who was firmly the head of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, have a space station developed by the weaponsmiths on Geonosis. The sheer size of the station, despite being impressive, was not enough for the ambitious Sith. The station would be constructed around a giant super laser array with the power to destroy an entire planet, which used large kyber crystals and technology developed by ancient Sith. Upon the start of the Clone Wars with the Battle of Geonosis, Poggle the Lesser, Geonosis' representative in the Separatist Alliance, gave the plans for the battle station to Dooku to keep them from Republic hands, not knowing of Dooku's ties with Chancellor Palpatine. The station was constructed throughout the Clone Wars above Geonosis with the utmost secrecy. By the time the 3-year conflict came to an end, the framework of the 120-kilometre wide station was complete, and the Emperor wasted no time in seizing the site and locking it down. Wilhuff Tarkin eventually took over as the project's supervisor after he proved himself at an event known as the Antar Atrocity. Tarkin ran into numerous problems whilst overseeing the construction, such as attempted sabotage, missing deadlines, and waning supplies. However, Tarkin proved himself more than capable, utilising huge amounts of Wookiee slave labour to engineer the raw components of the station, as well as running the site to the utmost level of efficiency. For this reason, Tarkin was made the first Grand Moff of the Galactic Empire, placing him at the highest level of command, answering only to the Emperor himself. 20 years after its original conception on Geonosis, the Death Star was complete. The super laser was fully operational and capable of destroying an entire planet. The station bolstered 15,000 turbo laser batteries, over 700 tractor beam emplacements, as well as thousands of supplementary weapons. All of this was manned by almost 342,000 Imperial Navy and Army crewmen, and an added 25,000 stormtroopers to protect the station from the inside. The monstrous station featured 357 internal levels, and was made to almost be completely self-sustainable, featuring countless barracks, as well as creature comforts such as cantinas and lounges. So confident was the Emperor in his new superstation, he even chose to disband the Imperial Senate following the arrest of Leia Organa, who had attempted to smuggle the Death Star plans to the Rebel Alliance. The Empire now made its intentions transparent. It would rule through terror as opposed to politics. The super laser was first used in the destruction of the planet Alderaan, when Leia Organa would not give Tarkin the location of the Rebel headquarters.
Since you are reluctant to provide us with the location of the Rebel base, I have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
Upon the princess's escape from the Death Star, the Imperials chose to follow them back to the Rebel base on Yavin 4. Here, the Rebels managed to launch a preemptive strike, which attempted to destroy the huge station before its super laser was prepared after its 24-hour cooldown period. Despite the station's imposing size and formidable defence, it had a major flaw. The thermal exhaust shaft which led to the hypermatter generator was completely exposed, and when Luke Skywalker fired his X-Wing's torpedoes into the shaft, the station began to explode. 20 years worth of planning by Sidious and countless amounts of credits down the drain, or the exhaust shaft as it was. Ultimately, the destruction of the Death Star was possibly the beginning of the end for the Empire. It showed the galaxy that despite all its efforts, the Empire could still be beaten. Of course, Palpatine would have the Death Star Mark II created, but this time his zealous nature and overconfidence in its power would lead to his downfall.